Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another straight up solo. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Galileo Galilei. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done this already. And if you have, I do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So apologize in advance. I've got a little bit of the sniffles today. Hopefully that won't be too distracting. So what's going on in this game? Well, this game is basically an action selection game with contract fulfillment and some end game scoring goals. That's basically what's going on here. The way you're dealing with it is you are getting these dice and you're increasing their value in order for them to be able to achieve either a direct observation over here, like if I had a 5 blue or a couple of blue that added up to 5 or more, I could do that direct observation of the small object, get the 4 points, or I could do something bigger. And when I do that, I would have to combine 2 dice in the color wheel side of things, like red and yellow make orange, or yellow and red make purple, etc., green. So you do that to be able to get these cards out here, and that is the main thing you're trying to do in this game. And to do that, you're taking this observe action. You're also gaining more dice when you take this gain dice action, and you're increasing the value of the dice depending on some of these variable actions that move around. You can also go up on these tracks over here, which they have a couple of the actual bonuses you do for the tracks are somewhat random. You have several of those cards you can deal with. Actually, I think I have a few more in the box I forgot to grab out and put there. No, maybe not. Maybe it's just 6. Anyway, there's several of them. And then you also have these conditions which move around too. These are conditions that have to do with the end of the game. These are conditions that if you achieve them right away, you would immediately, if you're the first person, get 7 points and be able to basically pacify an Inquisitor, discarding them, gaining a point, and also getting a free die. Or you would just get the 3 points if you were later on that. All right? And the way you're doing this is you're moving your telescope 1 to 3 spaces forward, and it does wrap around. If you you can always stop at this upgrade spot, but if you don't want to stop at the upgrade spot, you can wrap around and start again at this spot. You can never go to these 2 spaces here. If you want to upgrade, that allows you to flip over these little action tiles, these variable action tiles, making them better. And you could see here, they give you the player aid to show you exactly how each of these tiles gets better. So that's basically what's going on. The other thing you're doing is you can place these comet tiles, and the comet tiles allow you to get discounts for the observations you're doing. And when you get the discount, you can move them down here to get an even better discount in the future. And then finally, you can place them after you get that second time discount on one of these spots to get a one-time bonus. Or sometimes on your variable player power over here, like I did, I got this one-time bonus. Now, the other thing that's going on in this game is that a lot of times when you make observations, you're going to start taking these Inquisitor tokens and putting them over here. And when you take them, they just sit there. But when you start to influence them, then you have to have a tribunal. And the tribunal then will sum up the total that you have, the +1s, the -1s, the -2, -4s, to determine overall number. And that will then move your tribunal or your Inquisitor token, pardon me, down or up this track. And if you bottom out, you start losing points. If you go up to the top, you start gaining points. And at the end of the game, wherever you end on this, you'll either lose up to 10 points or gain up to 10 points. So that is a very fast overview. Now, how does the solo bot work? Well, the solo bot works by flipping over these tiles, moving around this looping action tile system, and doing the first action condition that meets that you can actually accomplish. And these are the conditions over here in the white. And there are various things like he has to have a comet he can place. He has to have an unsatisfied or unpacified Inquisitor. He has to have a certain number of dice. But you can always do the bottom one. And basically what that's doing is it's just doing a quick set of turns where he does something on the board. And as some people have commented, it can be kind of swingy. There's no doubt about that, depending on how he goes through these things. So let me show you a couple of turns here, and give you a feel for what it looks like. So I'm about to move my telescope, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to gain some more dice because I only have this one. And as you could see out here, there's a lot of things that have been covered up already by these smaller observations. And these goals, if I'm able to accomplish another one of these, I will actually meet this goal here. And so I'm kind of racing to do that because I really need those 7 points to be able to catch up. So the best thing for me to do would be to try to get one of these cards that it's within reach. So I'm going to move this over here. I'm going to gain this white die. And then I'm going to upgrade the white die 1 space. Now this would allow me to upgrade all the, did I say white die? The yellow die, pardon me, I don't know what I'm thinking. All the yellow dies that I have, I could upgrade 1 space. Okay, so that's kind of nice if you can pack them together. All right, and now if I had any of these little coordinate or quadrant tokens, I'd be able to take some free actions, but I don't. Okay, so now my turn's over. I go to the cleanup phase. I will take this action, variable action tile that I use, move it to the bottom, basically slide this up. And if I had moved any, not placed, but moved any of these Inquisitors, I'd have to deal with that. And if I accomplished any of these objectives up here, I could play an objective token and get that taken care of, but I didn't. All right, so one thing I didn't talk about is these books. When you get a knowledge, like it's called journaling, when you get a journal action, you can move these books down here, and every icon you land on or cross, you get a little bonus. You get more of these cards by completing the big cards and putting them down here, or by getting some other conditions that allow you to take one right off the top of the deck and use those in this kind of bonus movement kind of thing. All right, so let's see what he's going to do. 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, he says, if you have a comment to place, which he does, place the comment. Then move up on one of the bonus tracks. He moves up on the bonus track that's going to help him the most at this point in the game. And I think in this case, the way he's got things going on, it's going to be this one. It's a tie, really, between this and this, but that's fine. He always goes to the left one if it is. And then he's going to take an Inquisitor. So he has an Inquisitor here who's wondering what's going on down there. All right. Now, back to me. I would like I said, to accomplish this objective, I need 7. I have 5 right here, plus this 1 discount. So almost there, but not quite. Let's do this. Let's move up here. Let's upgrade. Actually, let's do the following. Let's place a comment. And then let's do this finalize book action, which allows me to move 1 book all the way over. I'm going to move this one all the way over. 1, 2, 3. What that's going to do is it's going to give me 2 points. It's going to let me take a die, which I'm going to take another one of these red ones. Actually, I'll take a yellow one. Set it to 1. And then get one of those free action tokens. All right, then I move this. Let's see what he's going to do. 2, but this means he's going to stop at the first upgraded tile, which are these reddish brown ones. So he's going to do that. He has a guy who's not been pacified, so he's going to move over 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. That means he's going to stand it up. He's going to get 6 more points, and he's going to get a die. Now, because he moved them, he's going to see where these all are. It's in the +1/+1, which gives him a +2, which is going to move his token up. And we're going to lay him down. And that's how that goes. Back to me now. I definitely want to do this before it's too late. So I'm going to move over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this action where I can upgrade a die 3 times. All right. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3. I'll take this token right here, and then I'm going to take that observation. Now I can do the 3 and the 4, making this 7. However, it's even better if I was to shoot for this. I have 9 plus the 1 discount makes 10. So that's what I'm going to do. I set this aside. I'm going to take this card, put it down here, draw a new one from the deck, get 11 points, have to take an Inquisitor, which I don't have to do I haven't moved him yet. And then, now that I've fulfilled the condition, I have 2 minor observations spent. I've got 2 major observations, and I've got at least 2 comets played. So I can play this right here, get the 7 points, which I need. So it'll put me to 44. And I could trade one of these in, get 1 point now, get him off there, and gain a die and another one of these tokens. And the die I'm going to take, knowing what's out there right now, I'm still going to take, I think, a yellow because this one's opened up. So go with that yellow. We'll put it right here. Now, do I want to spend any of these tokens? I could move him forward, but there's no rush because I haven't taken on anyone. However, I say there's no rush, but that's not necessarily true. Because every time you move these, the more you have on your board, the more you have to move, and then you have to count them. So you don't want to leave them too long. If you stack a bunch over here, when you finally move one of them, you're going to get some big point deductions. So I am actually going to do that. I'm going to spend these, and that's going to move this guy too. And at the end of my turn, which will be in just a second here, I will then have to evaluate. So I've got +1, +1, -1 is +1. Move it over here, lay him down. Pretty simple. And when I did this, I should have done that movement and everything before I took that action right there. It does matter because I would have gotten, let's see, I would have had a +3, right? Because you have to do that at the end to see if you fulfill that objective. So I got a little excited there. So I think I should go up one more. I believe that's true. Yeah, that is true. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and do another turn for him. All right, a 0 upgrade. So he's going to upgrade the next one in line if he's already at an upgraded spot, which he does. We'll do an upgrade for me. So I'm going to go here. And probably the one I'm going to upgrade is going to be this yellow one, right? No, you know what? I'm going to do this one right here. And that'll make that even better. So you can see how fast the turns go in this game. They really do move pretty quickly. You're literally just flipping this over for him, going 1, 2, 3. He doesn't have any of that condition met. He's going to go ahead and place one of these. He's going to place this on the most, well, the only one that's available here. He's going to get 4 points. He will move a comet down, and then he will take this card, put it in his line for his publishing, and then finally pacify, but he doesn't need to do that. And so, one other thing, he just accomplished an objective, so he will go here. He will take the 7 points, all right? So that puts him at 78. He will also go ahead and put one of those guys back, but he does not get the die or the bonus action. So there you have it. You can kind of see how this goes. There are some asymmetric player powers. For instance, my guy lets me put these little custom tiles down here however I'd like. And in order to do that, that would potentially help me fill in some blanks and do some better bonuses. And there's a lot of different ones. I got the promo one, but there's this one that lets you do something with these. There's this that gives you some more specialized rewards when you're placing comets down. You play the comet when you spend it a second time, and he has a different dungeon. There's this guy with a bunch of different rewards. There's Galileo, who gives you the ability to observe again additional things, etc. So there's some of those. Like I said, also there's some variable stuff going on here, and then you've got a bunch of cards you don't use, so you've got variety out here with what's going on. All right, so that is the game. Let me tell you what I think about it. So you can definitely tell that this game plays quickly and is fairly straightforward, pretty easy to understand, pretty easy to play. And I would say that's a strength and a weakness in this game, in my opinion. Number one, what it does very well, okay? It is a streamlined game with Euro mechanics that have, the little thing like I can only move this many spaces. It's sort of like a modified rondelle. And then when I move on it, it allows me I can upgrade and make it a little better. But it's all sort of, in that kind of rondelle-like shape. It really reminds me a lot of a simplified, streamlined version of woodcraft, to be honest. This whole game does. And not just the rondel mechanism, but also the set collection and the dice getting bigger and upgrading your dice and making them bigger and etc. And I think it's fine. It's fine, but it just feels like it's lacking a little bit of excitement to me, to be honest. And it's not because it's not an exciting game. I think it's because I've just played so many games like this before that it's all right, but I don't see myself rushing it back to the table often. And for that reason, I'll probably keep it for a little while, but I definitely don't think it's going to be a permanent stay in my collection just because I think I'll have had my fill after a few games, and that'll be it. And I will say this, and I think this is probably the biggest drawback of the game. When you played one game, you've seen everything the game has to offer. And that, to me, it's a bit of a problem when I'm playing solo games. Not that it's not fun. It's just that I've already seen it. I've explored it. There's not a lot that because the strategies are basically, it's more about efficiency than it is strategy in a lot of ways. What is the best way I can most efficiently do what I'm trying to do, maximizing my actions? And I think the most interesting thing, honestly, about the game is when and where and how you deal with the Inquisitors. Because if they load up on you, you're going to be stuck in that negative point value spot and lose a lot of points. So you got to be careful about that. And that will inform or it'll modify the tactics that you use. You want to take them at a certain time. You want to pacify them at a certain time to try to minimize the impact they have on you and maximize the benefits. And there's also a bonus endgame condition. In my case, for this game, if I could have 6 Inquisitors on the board, on my board in my dungeon, then I would have qualified for one of those 7-point swings, which is cool. So it's a little bit of a give and take. I want to keep them there so that they allow me to have more positives than the negatives, and I also want to keep them there for that potential victory condition. But also I want to move them on so I get a bonus die and a quadrant token, which helps me take more actions. And so there's a lot of that microtransaction kind of little bit here, a little bit there push. I also think the book mechanic is kind of fun. I always like getting little rewards. I love covering things, and that's cool. I like that mechanic of taking a card, flipping it over, and using that to get more stuff going on. So I think that's a big benefit. But besides that, it's a pretty straightforward game. There's no doubt about it. This would be a great game if you have a fledgling collection or a moderate-sized collection, and you like light-medium games, ones that have solo that you can play, and ones that have very little overhead. Because the solo is very easy to play. It's simple to learn. You literally will master the execution of it well before you even finish your first game. And away it goes. And it will not take a ton of brain power to do that. And so that is definitely a plus, especially in a game like this. You don't have to worry about, it trying to do, there's no decision tree here. I'll put it that way. It's just, you do exactly what it says. That's it. That can lead to some swingy scores for sure. It can lead to some very large or less than optimum scores by the solo opponent, but it also makes for an easier experience. So all things considered, I think it's a good game. I think there's a solid amount of stuff to like here, but I don't know if it's going to have the legs that I'm looking for to stay in my collection. Ironically, I sold Woodcraft a while ago because it was too much. It had too many things going on. It was too constrained. There was too much information I would have to juggle and everything else. And I just I found that there was more work than needed. But this one is definitely less. And I'm not sure what it's missing. If it's missing, 1 or 2 more mechanics or something else. But I just think the strategy, it's all about tactics. It's all about tactics. You're going to focus on different things to score here and there. But it's not like you can say, well, I'm going to take just buy the card strategy, or I'm going to take just a small object strategy, or I'm just going to focus on goals only, because they're all pretty well interwoven. You kind of have to do a bit of all things. And unlike most Euros where there's some serious tension for you not to spread out, you want to focus, in this one, it doesn't penalize you for doing that focus. The only thing you have to be careful of is not to take too many Inquisitors at once, because that can be a serious penalty. But there's lots of ways to be able to deal with that. So it's okay. It's all right. But it's not fantastic as far as I'm looking for. I hope this is really helpful to you. I do think there's plenty of people who like this game, plenty of people who really enjoy it. And there's nothing wrong with this game. Good game for sure. It's just its scope is a little bit linear compared to what I'm looking for in my collection to stick around for a while. So that's the story, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody. And whatever you play and do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy.